Let's think about the different kinds of miracles that we find recorded in Mark's Gospel. I think that Mark's miracles can be categorised into 5 different groups. There are the nature miracles. These are the kinds of things that come immediately to mind whenever we think of the term miracle. We read about Jesus stilling a storm. We read about Jesus walking on water. We read about Jesus multiplying food as he does in the feeding of the 5,000. And all of these things involve the modification of a natural law, a law of nature. They involve the modification, for instance, of the law of gravity or the law of the conservation of matter. We know from general experience these things don't happen because they're not in accordance with the way that nature works most of the time. Those are the nature miracles. Secondly, we have healing miracles. We read, for instance, about Jesus healing the paralysed man in Mark chapter 2. We read about Jesus healing the bleeding woman in Mark chapter 5. These are instances of someone coming into some kind of encounter with Jesus, as a result of which they are physically restored. But Mark's interested not only in their physical restoration, he's also interested in their psychological, their emotional, their spiritual, and their social restoration as well. Healing for Mark is a holistic thing. It's got to do with the renewal of the whole person and not just the healing of a physical condition. Thirdly, we have exorcism miracles. We have Jesus commanding evil spirits to leave people, as a result of which they're restored to a state of psychological well-being. And Mark has a great deal to say about Jesus' exorcisms. We're introduced to the theme of exorcism as early as Mark chapter 1. Then we have resuscitation. We read about Jesus going to the home of the synagogue ruler, Jairus. He finds there that Jairus' daughter is lying dead. She's died before her time. The house is filled with mourners, and Jesus miraculously brings her back to life. We know from our general experience that sort of thing doesn't happen. It can't happen. Yet it's recorded that Jesus does it. This dead girl is miraculously raised. She's brought back to life. Putting the gospel accounts of Jesus' life together, we see 3 different instances when Jesus resuscitates a dead body. And then fifthly, we have the resurrection. The resurrection is a miracle that relates specifically to Jesus and only to Jesus. In Mark chapter 16, we read about women going to the tomb where Jesus' dead body was laid, and they find the tomb empty. They're told that he's been raised to life by the power of God. This isn't a resuscitation miracle, this is a resurrection miracle. This isn't someone being brought back to life from the dead. This is Jesus going into death and coming out the other side into a different kind of physical existence. Christians believe that the miracle of resurrection happened to Jesus and only to Jesus. It's an event without precedence in history. It's an event that has no subsequent example. So the resurrection of Jesus is in a category all of its own. What we're going to do in a few moments is consider the nature miracles in a little bit more detail and consider how do we interpret these miracle accounts? What do we do with them as careful readers of Mark's Gospel?